Alrighty, so this is going over more of Caleb's flags. So Caleb just got an order for 2 more flags. Uses sketch plans to figure out how many square feet of cloth it will take to make each flag. The first order is for a flag that is 2.5 feet wide and 4.5 feet long. Write an expression. So that's the math we're going to do. So that's 2.5 times 4.5. I could have written it 4.5 by 2.5. It wouldn't have changed anything. Here are 3 different estimates for the answer. Choose the one that is most reasonable and explain why it is most reasonable. Well, one thing I could do is I could round this to 5 and this to 3, so that'd be 15. What if I rounded this to 5 and this to 2? That'd be 10. What if I rounded this to 4 and this to 3? That'd be 12. Well, with those 3 estimates of rounding, that tells me that this is going to be right, because I would say because 2 times 5 is 10, and 3 times 5 is 15, and 3 times 4 is 12, so the closest to all of those is 11. Right? So our answer has to be somewhere around here. It has to be somewhere 5, 10, 15, and 12. Again, I have these 2 numbers that are over 11, so I would do that. So again, what I did there is I rounded 3 or 4 with 3 different ways, and I rounded that because we have that half there. Like if this was 4 3/4 and this is 2 1/4, I would just do 5 and 2. Does that make sense? Hopefully. All right, here's the sketch. So we have this rectangle that is 4 by 2, so that's going to give us 8 feet squared. We have this rectangle that is a half by 2, so half of 2 is 1 feet squared. We have down here, we have this is 4, and this is a half, so half of 4 is 2 feet squared. And then here we have a half by half square, which is 1/4. So the math I did there was 4 by 2 equals 8. I have 1/2 of 2 equals 1. I have 4 by a half, that's going to give me 2. And then a half of a half gives me 1/4. I add these all together. 8 plus 2 is 10, plus 1 is 11, plus 1/4 is 11 1/4 feet squared. Right, going on the back. Second order, 3.5 by 4 3/4. Write an expression. So again, we have 3.5 by 4 3/4. What's a reasonable estimate? 12, 14, or 16? Well, I know it's going to be probably way more than 12. Not way more. Well, this is always going to be 5. So 5 times 4 is 20, and 5 times 3 is 15. So I'd say this. So if I round, so 5 times 3 is 15, and 5 times 4 is 20. So 16 would be the closest. Alright, so here's Caleb's plan again. Again, so let's look at all the rectangles we have. We have a 4 by 3. We have a 3/4 by 3. We have a 4 by 1/2. And we have a 3/4 by 1/2. Oops. So my 4 by 3 is going to give me 12. 3/4 of 3. Well, 1/4 of 3 is 3/4. That's 9/4, right? So 9/4. Since I'm going to be adding, I'm going to pull out my 1 whole of 4/4. Actually, I have 2 holes, don't I? I have 8/4. This is going to be 2 1/4. Here I have 4 times a half, which is 2, and 3/4 times 1/2 is going to give me 3/8. So I add all these together. So I have 12 and 2, which is what? 16. And I have a 1/4 plus 3/8. So I'm going to have to do some work down here. I have to turn those into eighths. So 1/4 in eighths is, what is that, 2/8? So it's going to give me 5/8. So the whole thing is 12 plus 2 plus 2, which is 16, and 5/8. Alright, so here if you did the challenge, it says find at least 2 different pairs of dimensions for a flag that has an area of 8.5 square feet. Ooh. This is a good one. What was the other one? It was 11 1/4, so it'd be less than that.
Sorry, I'll be done after this though.
So that means something times something gives me 8.5. So I know a bunch of ways to get to 8. 4 by 2, 8 by 1. But then how do you get to a half? Well, then I have to do that 4 times. Man, you have to think about this, don't you? So is there a whole number we could use? Well, that would be the easiest one, wouldn't it? So, no, hold on. What's half of, what's 18, 8.5 doubled? Oh, I could just multiply. And that would give me, if I double 8.5, that gives me what, 17? So I could do 17 by 1/2, right? That equals 8.5. And if I have this, like we did the other day, once I know one thing that equals 8.5, I can halve and double. So I could change this to, 8.5 by 1. What if I half and double this again? So half would be 4 1/4 times 2. If I half and double again, that would be 2 1/8 times 4. So those are some. Alright, bye.